to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. We own things. We are the people that decide. Whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got no disease. Welcome to the jungle. That's the way you do it. Welcome everyone to the TCAA show. I am your host, Commish Bromy, as always. Welcome everyone who is currently listening live or will be listening later on, probably most likely tomorrow, on your way into work or whatnot, or before we get a little game time going tomorrow night. I just want to say thanks for everyone who is listening. Um, Interesting week this past week, as we were had a coach president leave right as the week was starting, chose to just go ahead and quit on us. It is what it is. No hard feelings to him. Would have preferred that he would have just stayed for the rest of the season, but he decided not to. So it is what it is. Missed on something, whatever. I'm not going to beg somebody to stay in the league. People come to me, or I shout out and look for people, but I'm not going to beg somebody to be in the league if they don't want to be in the league anymore. So it is what it is. Um, Other than that, we had a lot of close finishes. Monday night's game definitely had a lot of say in what was going to happen because it looked a little scary for the top of our rankings that came in. But unfortunately, not too much craziness ended up happening as Cooper Cup was able to take care of it for some of these schools that were looking to have some problems here. So we'll go ahead and we're going to knock out what some of these rankings are and how everybody did in the talk about what the rankings look like and then what the next matchups are going to look for this next coming week as we have another conference matchup coming up. So let's start it off with last week's game of the week. We had number 4 Duke MU going on the road facing number 5 Telford Tornadoes in a nice little conference matchup between these two. And in this one, Telford was victorious, 141 to 127. For Telford, they have Brady with his 17, Zeke with his 19, DeAndre Swift 15, Cooper Cup 17, Cordell Patterson with only 4 points, which is the lowest he's had probably all season. So a surprise on that one. And then George Kittle coming back off of injury with his 12 points there. For Duke MU, had no quarterback, which I'm sure is what would have, one of the big upsets on this one here. Kyler Murray. Not sure if, without looking at Duke's lineup automatically or his roster, if he has a backup or on that again, but we all knew Kyler Murray was out the week prior as well because we had Colt McCoy in there. So I'm assuming he must not have a quality backup or a healthy backup in the quarterback area. And that hurt him here because with the real quarterback, it's possible he could have won this game and kept his ranking there because we all know he's going to drop now for losing. Darrell Henderson with his 6 points, CeeDee Lamb with 27 points, Michael Pittman with his 8 points, and then Deebo Samuel, who is just a monster on Monday night with his 27 points, and then Travis Kelce with his 15 points. So this brings Telford Tornadoes record up to 7-3, drops Duke MU down to 7-3, and we'll talk real quick about what that looks like for them in the conference here as well. As this, like we said, everything had conference ties this week, and this coming week as well, we'll have some conference ties here. So both those schools now are 2-1 in their conferences. Telford right now with the tiebreaker on that head-to-head. Also in the Big Six conference. When it comes to what it looks like conference wise, you have South Texas also is 2-1, and the Dynasty is also now 2-1. DBU with 1-2, and then Jefferson Community College at 0-3. Most likely has zero chance there for Jefferson Community College, unfortunately, this year to make it into their conference title matchup, being 0-3. The best you're going to be able to do is 2-3, and you're going to be asking for a lot of help with 4 schools at 2-1 to even make their way down into the getting 2 more losses each there on that one. So we'll kind of see what happens there. But right now, like we said, so Telford and Duke MU both up there with 2-1, along with South Texas and the Dynasty, all at 2-1 in conference play. But right now, Telford with that tiebreaker on Duke MU. I mean, if everything was this was the end of the season, because of tiebreakers and head-to-heads and whatnot, you'd have Telford and Duke MU in that conference title matchup. But we still got 2 more games to go in the conference play. So lots to still go on there. And like I said, we'll probably talk about both these schools again when we do our next matchups for this week coming up here. But let's get down to some more ranked matchups. Next one on this one, we had University of Dallas Spurs going on the road to face number 10 Louisiana University Knights. And in this one, the Spurs were victorious on the road with the upset. And this would be one of those big upsets as Dallas was ranked very, very low, as this is now only their second win of the season. So a very bad loss for Louisiana, losing 89 to 80. And what makes matters worse, Dallas had no quarterback, as they had Big Ben in their lineup, and he was out with COVID. So 0 points in that quarterback spot, and was able to be victorious because he had Zeke Elliott with his 19, CeeDee Lamb with his 27. And that's pretty much about it. The rest of the lineup didn't do much for him. He had his linebacker, TJ Watt, with 10. But Jarvis Landry with 4, DK Metcalf with 4, but he got kicked out of the game and tried to get back in. And then Eric Ebron with 2. For Louisiana, Justin Herbert with 12 points. Something's not right with him. This is, I think, his 3rd or 4th week in a row where he is just not looking good. Melvin Gordon with his 8 points, Devontae Adams 11 points, and like we already talked about with Patterson with his 4 points, definitely not having his normal week. And then where Atlanta was just didn't do well. Adam Thielen with 9, and then Zach Ertz with his 6 points. So in their matchups here, this brought, like we said, Dallas now has 2 wins, bringing them up to 2-8, and now Louisiana dropping down to 5-5. We'll do a quick look at the ACC and see what that did for this one, because I believe this conference is still fully up for grabs. Here we go here. So you got 4 schools at 2-1. Louisiana, Brock State U, Terry Tate, and Dallas Spurs are all 2-1. You got Adams College at 1-2, and then Safe Moon is at 0-3. They're pretty much out of the equation, but new owner taking that one over anyway, new president. So not really playing much for this year, except for a little bit of pride and getting used to what the league is. That way he can get himself ready for next year. But right now you have 4 schools at 2-1, and 2 of those schools are severely under 500. With Terry Tate at 3-7 and Dallas Spurs 2-8. Only 2 wins that Dallas has is in conference play. So, I mean, they're looking to be some spoilers here, guys. So Louisiana and Brock State, 5-5 and 4-6. Not all that, the great records there, but they are currently leading it overall with those overall records, and they're 2-1 conferences. But Terry Tate and Dallas Spurs are right behind them. So this week's games is really going to make a big difference here. And then the final game of the season is also a conference matchup. So like I said, we have 3 games left. 2 of them involve conference play. So lots to still go on here for this league. All right, matchup. We have find it here. All right. Speaking of the school with no owner or no president, number 8, Balso Hard University went on the road to face FACU University. And in this one, FA was victorious 144 to 105. This puts a 4th straight loss for Balso Hard University after starting 6-0. I'm not going to say that's the reason why they're decided to leave, but it is what it is. But no, taking nothing away from FA here on this one, because they definitely were able to. Patrick Mahomes became Patrick Mahomes in this one. It's Patrick Mahomes we're used to seeing. So he got 46 from Mahomes, 13 from Fournette, 6 from Darrell Henderson, 18 from Justin Jefferson, 8 from Deontay Johnson, 3 from Gallus Goddard, 4 balls so hard in their loss, 8 points from Aaron Rodgers, 19 from Zeke Elliott, 10 from Aaron Jones, just 2 points from A.J. Brown, and then Cooper Kupp with his 17 points. Definitely not enough. The only version of Cooper Kupp in this, only copy of it, that didn't help out their school winning with his 17 points. And we'll talk about, like I said, he was a main reason why some of these schools didn't get undefeated this week, or didn't lose this week and get some upsets in our rankings. And then 4 points from Darren Waller. So go to a little Big East discussion real quick when it comes to conference play after that matchup here. swing it up this way. So what does this do? This brings Fa to 3-0 in the conference. The only school that hasn't lost yet in conference play. They're 6-4 overall. You've got now Ball So Hard and Thugonomics. They're at 2-1 in conference play, and they're both 6-4. In this one, Ball So Hard does have the tiebreaker over the Thugonomics in their 2-1 records here in the overall 6-4s. So that could be an interesting thing there. And then you got Copa, Chicago Outfit. They're also 2-1 in conference play. There are 4-6 overall, though. So not looking good overall record, but doesn't matter. It's all about conference play, and they've got a 2-1 record. Remember, the Titans and Harrison University are both 0-3. Zero chance of them getting into conference title play. They're asking too much for too many schools to try and get down to a 3-win, at least 3 losses, and both of them now winning out the rest of their conference play matchups. Just not likely. So both those two schools are more than likely 99% chance out of the equation to play in conference play. But like we said, we got a couple of schools fighting for that second spot there. There's still a chance for Fa to lose out on the conference play, but they'd have to pretty much lose their next 2 games and everybody else win. So not likely. But so good move there for Fa on that one. And we'll talk about them a little bit more too as well. Okay, next matchup. You have down. All right. So speaking of one of those schools that lucked out before getting upset, you had Gondor University White Knights going on the road to face number 2 University of Kentucky Bourbon Ballers, and the Bourbon Ballers were able to squeak this one by. Go ahead and call it. They won it by 3 points, less than 3 points. So home field advantage definitely played a part in this one, but Cooper Kupp saved the Ballers on this one. So for Gondor, overall 109 points. They had 13 from Lamar Jackson, 15 from Tony Pollard, 2 from A.J. Brown, 26 from Stephon Diggs, 3 from Tyler Lockett, and 15 from Mark Andrews. And then for the Ballers, he had 17 from Brady, who didn't look good this past week, 15 from DeAndre Swift, 5 from Marquise Brown, 8 from Terry McLaurin, 15 from Travis Kelce, and then 17 points from Cooper Kupp. Now, we were in a little text group I had going on during that Monday night football game, and by the third quarter, you already saw a post from Samurai Jackson putting a post in the band app. I was in the chat with Alan Wrench as well, talking about how him and Bourbon both had Kupp, and they both needed Kupp to survive and him to do something. And Kupp was able to just have that hell of a third and fourth quarter to give them the victory here. So Bourbon Ballers able to squeak this one out, 112 to 109, moving them up to 8-2, and then dropping Gondor down to 3-7. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk real quick about what the brand new Mountain 6 conference looks like in conference play. So you got the Ballers at 2-1. You have Upper Sandusky at 2-1. You got Grimes State at 2-1. Both of those two is Upper Sandusky is 4-6 and Grimes is 3-7. And then you have 6-4 Crenshaw on losing now back-to-back losses here. They're now 1-2. Gondor's 1-2, and then Delta Tau Chi is 1-2 as well. So a lot could still happen. You got some spoilers here in the making. But right now, you've got the Bourbon Ballers looking like they will be lucked out on this one. 8-2 on their record now. So good luck to them as we get some more conference play going on here as well. All right. The next matchup we get. Bring it up here. All right. You had number 9 Delta Fu Gamma going on the road facing Land Thieves, and in this one, Land Thieves was able to pull off the victory and call it an upset if you want, as they were unranked, 92 to 71 for Delta Fu. They're having the same problem, having Kyler Murray in their lineup. He already had a small roster as it was, so the magic is starting to fall away here from Delta Fu. Not too much, though. This is just their second loss, but still 2 losses now for them in their magical season that they had after going to 8-0. So no points on the quarterback slot. He got 6 points from Darrell Henderson, 15 from DeAndre Swift, 3 from Cortland Sutton, 8 from Jalen Waddle, and 9 from Tyler Higbee. For the Land Thieves, you had 12 from Justin Herbert, 15 from Najee Harris, 13 from Keenan Allen, 5 from Marquise Brown, 13 from Mike Evans, and 15 from Travis Kelce. Nothing from his quarterback slot from Roquan Smith. Um, I guess Chicago may have been on a bye. I don't remember too much on that one. But either way, Land Thieves victorious 92-71, bringing them up to 6-4. Like we said, drop a Delta Food down to 8-2. Go ahead and we'll real quick. The Pack 6 looks like as soon as it loads itself up here. All right, so we'll talk about number 3, Samurai Jackson, here in a second. But conference-wise, they are 8-2 and 3-0 overall in the conference play. That is Samurai Jackson University. Delta Fu is now down to 2-1, and Copper Mountain is at 2-1 as well. Land Thieves is at 1-2. This was their first winning conference play. They do have a 4-game winning streak. You have Greenville 1-2, and then Philly U is 0-3. Philly U is more than likely out of it, being at 0-3 and having to the odds of them are having 2 schools match them in their losses. Not likely here. So Samurai 3-0, Delta 2-1, Copper Mountain 2-1. Land Thieves looking to still play a spoiler in this one. Still got some work to do with that 1-2 record, but still 2 games to go. You never know what's going to happen here. All right. Next matchup in the rankings. Speaking of Samurai Jackson, they were on the road facing Philly U, and they were victorious, as we just mentioned, how they're still 3-0 in their conference play, 164-111 for Samurai Jackson. They got the Patrick Mahomes that they wanted and they missed for a long time with his 46 points, his 5 touchdowns, looking like the Patrick Mahomes of old. Zeke Elliott, 19, Devontae Adams, 11, Stephon Diggs with his 26, Justin Jefferson was 18, and then rookie Kyle Pitts with his 8. For Philly, 17 from Tannehill, 13 from Austin Eckler, 5 from Myles Gaskin, 17 from Cooper Kupp, Michael Pittman with 8, and then Hunter Henry with 17. New England putting that spanking on the Browns, and they were able to Hunter was able to get a little pay dirt on that one with his 17 points. But still not enough, unfortunately, there for Philly U. Samurai just had too much firepower. Like we said, Mahomes went Mahomes. Hasn't played like that in a long time this season here. So, but Samurai 8-2 overall. Philly U down to 5-5. We already discussed what was going on in their area for Pac 6 play. But there is some big matchups coming in the Pac 6, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Next matchup, another Pac 6 matchup here. You had Copper Mountain, number 6, at home taking on Greenville Green Devils, and they were victorious, 135-122. In this loss for Greenville, you had Matthew Stafford at 8 points, Dalvin Cook 19, Tyreek Hill at 23, DK Metcalf with just his 4, and Debo Samuel with his 27. Mike Gesicki, nothing there for the Dolphins there. Didn't get any points in that Thursday night game and that stunner against the Ravens. For Copper Mountain, you had 22 come from Josh Allen, 21 from Christian McCaffrey, 21 from Jonathan Taylor, 27 from CeeDee Lamb, 4 points from Cordero Patterson, 3 points from Dallas Goedert in that one. So victorious Copper Mountain 135-122. This puts Copper up to 7-3 and dropped Greenville down to 4-6. And we already kind of talked about the Pac 6 in general and what that looks like, but we'll talk about them some more when we talk about what it looks like for the next round of conference play. All right, your next ranking matchup. You had number 7 SCLSU Mud Dogs at home hosting the Volunteers, and the Mud Dogs were victorious, doubling them up 140-75. For the Vols, you had Trevor Lawrence with his 5, Aaron Jones 10, A.J. Brown for 2, CeeDee Lamb with 27, Metcalf with 4, and Zach Ertz with his 6. He had a player in the negative points and a defensive tackle. He had a couple players with 0 on him for his kicker and for his cornerbacks. I'm not sure if I know Greg Zerline is out with COVID protocol. Not too sure about Adoree Jackson. if the Giants were on a bye week or he's injured or what his issue is there. So I'm not sure what the depth looks like there for the Balls. For the win here for SCLSU, you had 13 from Lamar Jackson, 13 from Austin Eckler, 21 from Jonathan Taylor, 5 from Marquise Brown, 9 from Christian Kurt, and then 15 from Mark Andrews. And before we even talk, I'll talk about SEC here all in one. Says we'll go ahead and just discuss number one Allen Wrench Trade School holding on for their victory against Quack Attack. He had a couple of players actually going in that Monday night game, but Cooper Cup was necessary, and Quack Attack had Matthew Stafford, and his slow start kind of just signified what was going to happen in this one. But Allen Wrench able to continue their winning streak here, staying undefeated at 10-0, pulling out the victory against Quack Attack. Like we said, 118 and 101. For Allen Wrench, he had 17 from Brady, 15 from DeAndre Swift, 11 from Devontae Adams, 17 from Cooper Kupp, 9 from Adam Thielen, and then 12 from George Kittle. For the Quacks, he had 8 from Matthew Stafford, 19 from Zeke Elliott, 13 from Fournette, 4 from Brandon Ayuk, and 4 from Cordell Patterson. He got -1 from his tight end in TJ Hawkinson. So let's talk Pac-6 football. Or not Pac-6, but SEC, I'm sorry. Let's talk about them here. So, with that being said, obviously, you got Allen Wrench at 3-0. You have Vestal Tech at 3-0 in conference play. You got SCLSU Mud Dogs at 2-1. Then you got Presbyterian at 1-2, and then the Balls and Quack Tech at 0-3. Those two are definitely not going to get any luck in this one, as you have to have Allen Wrench and Vestal Tech to lose more games than they have left to play in conference, so they're out of it. SCLSU definitely is going to have to find a way to get some victories here. We'll talk about them in a little bit and who they're facing. Then you got Presbyterian Blue Hose at 1-2. They're definitely looking to play the spoiler. Huge long shot. I mean, I don't know who they're facing their next, who their other two opponents are in conference play, but very, very long shot for them to be able to jump into that conference title playoff matchup there for the title. But definitely something that they could do to be a spoiler and maybe mess around with the teams ahead of them there. So there's all your ranked matchups that we had last week and everything like that. So we will go ahead and talk about the rankings for this week. Pull this up. All right. Coaches poll. It's way down here. Coaches poll, no changes at the top. We had Allen Wrench getting all 4 number 1 votes from the coaches. No surprise, they are undefeated. Number 2 stayed the same with Kentucky. 3 Samurai Jackson. 4 Telford Tornadoes. 5 Copper Mountain. 6 Duke MU. 7 SCLSU. 8 Land Thieves. 9 Vestal Tech, and then 10 is FOCU. FOCU University and Land Thieves new to the coaches' top 10. Dropping out of the top 10, Delta Fu Gamma and the University of Thugonomics, even though they got a win last week, they dropped out of the top 10, unfortunately. All right. Talking about, once again, with Allen Wrench, they are now the first school to get to the 3 mark of 3 weeks being ranked number 1, breaking the ties that they had at number 2 with Ball So Hard and Duke MU. So congratulations there to Allen Wrench on that one. But let's talk about the real rankings that matter, and that is the TCS one. This involves your power rankings as well. Allen Wrench swept it all, number 1 in the power rankings, so they stayed put at number 1. Staying put at number 2, University of Kentucky Blue Ribbon Ballers. Staying at 3 was Samurai Jackson. Moving up 1 after their victory over Duke MU was Telford Tornadoes. They're at 4. Copper Mountain moving up 1 to number 5. Duke MU dropping down 2 slots to 6 after that loss to Telford. SCLSU staying there at number 7. And then new to the top 10 for the TCS rankings, you got number 8, Vestal Tech. You got number 9, FOCU. And you got number 10, Land Thieves, all moving up into the top 10 of the TCS rankings. Dropping out of the rankings was Ball So Hard University, Delta Fu Gamma, and Louisiana University Knights. Now, to follow up with the rest of those rankings, you got 11 through 15, Ball So Hard, Thugonomics, Delta Fu, Louisiana, and Copa there in Chicago Outfit. 16 down to 20, you got Crenshaw, Philly U, Upper Sandusky, Adams College in South Texas. 21 to 25, you got Presbyterian, DVAP U, Greenville, remember the Titans, Terry Tate, Spain Train. 26 to 30, you got Brock State, Grimes State, Safe Moonholders, Jefferson Community College, and the Dynasty And to round it out, the last six here, 31 to 36, you got Harrison University, Gondor University, Quack Attack Volunteers, University of Dallas Spurs, and the last slot is Delta Tau Chi Favorite College Chapter, dropping down two spots, that last remaining spot of 36. All right, there are your rankings there overall for the schools. I need to go ahead and actually post this officially onto the website here. So let me go ahead and get that in there. All right, so that is now published on there to the site. So let's talk. Let's talk matchups for this week, and we've got some doozies with our rankings. Now, the game of the week. Let me roll all the way up here to the front. Is number 8 Vestal Tech Community College going on the road to Suboxone Coliseum to face the number 1 undefeated Allen Wrench Trade School. Both these schools are 3-0 in conference play. Someone's about to get their first conference loss. At this moment, what their rosters look like. We have Vestal Tech with Patrick Mahomes, Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, Mike Evans, Debo Samuel, and Hunter Henry. For Allen Wrench, you got Josh Allen, A.J. Dillon, DeAndre Swift, Devontae Adams, and rookie Jamar Chase with George Kittle in their tight end. Currently, Allen Wrench is favored 130 to 126 overall. In the years that these two schools have faced each other, Allen Wrench holds a 4-3 all-time series record. So this definitely has a lot of implications of what's going on in the SEC conference title picture. Both, like I said, they're 3-0. Allen Wrench is undefeated. Vestal Tech is your defending champion. They were able to actually get into the playoffs last year without making it into their conference title matchup. So they're looking to do the same, although I'm sure they'd like to get their conference title here because a loss here could be bad for them. With SCLSU just breathing down their necks there at 2-1 in their conference play. So big matchup here. A lot of stipulations here. A lot of scenarios that could happen here, depending on who loses and who wins in this matchup. So big game of the week here. Very big. All right, your next matchup you got here for your ranked schools. Let's see here. It is number 4 Telford Tornadoes going on the road to face Jefferson Community College Southwest. Telford hoping to extend that 5-game win streak as they go on the road here. For Telford, you got Tom Brady, Zeke Elliott, DeAndre Swift, Cooper Kupp, and Cordero Patterson with George Kittle. For Jefferson, you've got Lamar Jackson, Nick Chubb, who hasn't been cleared off the COVID list yet to play, but he's in there with projected points, so it's a possibility he could play. You got Marquise Brown, Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin, and then Dawson Knox. At this moment, this is a pretty much even game, coin flip, based off the predictions right now. Although it does look like Telford's got a couple players in there, and Kupp and Aaron Donald, who will not be playing this week. They are on bye, so his roster is not 100% correct at this moment. But if it was to be this, it'd be, like I said, they're at a toss-up, both averaging at 115 in this one here. Telford does hold a 5-3 overall record here as well for these matchups when these two schools face each other. So like I said, Telford overall 5-3 for this one here. We'll take a quick Gatorade timeout for the little one. Get that right. Go, buddy. Let me take a swig. All right. Next matchup here for the ranked schools. You've got number 6 Duke MU going on the road to face DBEP University at Jazz Flute Stadium. For Duke MU, you got Kyler Murray. He's got Darrell Henderson in there, who's not playing this week. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Pittman, Debo Samuel, and Travis Kelce. For DBEPU, you got Aaron Rodgers. He's got Melvin Gordon, who isn't playing this week from the looks of it. Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, and Kyle Pitts. So not really sure how these matchups really will be looking like, but at the moment, based off their current rosters, you got DBEPU currently projected to win at 120 to 115. In this one here, Duke MU does have that 5-3 overall series record for them. And if we look back over at the conference plays, let's read a little bit here about some of the Big Six that would be DBEP definitely needs that victory there. And obviously, both Telford and Duke need to get their victories on their end, respect there. So, next one here, you have remember the Titans University. They're going on the road to the Sinbin to face number 9, Fock U2 University. And in this one here, you have remember the Titans with the Justin Herbert, DeAndre Swift, Stephon Diggs, Cordero Patterson, Michael Pittman, Dawson Knox. And for Fa, you have Patrick Mahomes, Leonard Fournette, David Montgomery, Justin Jefferson, Deontay Johnson, and David uh, Juco. Can't remember how to pronounce his last name. But at this moment, remember the Titans is favored uh, projectively to win 124 to 119. Um, and in this one, we got remember the Titans holds a 4-3 all-time series record against on this one here. Go real quick and take a look. You got what the Big East had when it came to their matchups as they are getting going here. So yeah, you had Fa with their 3-0. Let's see. Remember the Titans is 0-3, so they're looking to play spoiler right now. And you got the Thugonomics are actually facing Chicago outfit this week, and they're both 2-1. So that is a must-win game for both to keep their conference title hopes alive. Let's see here. Make sure I got no comments anywhere. Got a comment here. Let me take a look at this real quick. No, Copa. The number 15 ranking is official. You did get a top 10 vote from one of the coaches in this one, so you are still being seen as uh, a top 10 projected school by one of our coaches. So your 15th ranking is correct. What you see on that screen, if you see the current one of what the latest one that was updated and what I said earlier, that is correct. So yep. So you are sitting there at 15 and big matchup against your commish. So don't be afraid to just roll over. Just saying. All right, back to the matchups here. I'll check your comments here later. I'm sure you got something going on there as I'm trying to do this. All right, your next matchup on the ranked schoolings. You've got number 2, University of Kentucky Bourbon Ballers going on the road to face Delta Tau Chi Favorite College Chapter. We're hoping to end their 3-game losing streak and play spoiler. For Kentucky Bourbon, you got Brady, you got DeAndre Swift, Marquise Brown. He's got to make a change there because he's got Cooper Kupp still in there, and Terry McLaurin and Travis Kelce. For Delta Tau, you got Aaron Rodgers, Zeke Elliott, Josh Jacobs, Jamar Chase, Adam Thielen. He's got Tyler Higbee in there, who's not going to be playing this week on the bye as well. Currently, Kentucky is favored 116 to 113. This is their first ever matchup against each other. They are the new Mountain Six. Let me go ahead and revisit Mountain Six conference real quick. So we just talked about Kentucky and what that means here with the Delta Tau facing them. So Delta Tau Chi would be definitely looking to be playing spoiler with their 1-2 conference play. They can win their last 2, play a big spoiler here, possibly here. So never know what could happen in this one here. All right, next up, you've got Philly U going on the road to Switzerfield to face number 10 Land Thieves. We're hoping to continue their 4-game winning streak they've got going on and get themselves into their conference title matchup. For Philly, you've got Ryan Tannehill, Austin Eckler, Michael Gallup, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, and Hunter Henry. For the Thieves, you got Justin Herbert, Najee Harris, Keenan Allen, Marquise Brown, Mike Evans, and Travis Kelce. At this moment, Land Thieves is favored 125 to 112. However, overall, Philly U does hold a 4-3 record against Land Thieves. So Land Thieves looking to definitely tie that one up and continue their winning streak that they've got going on in that Pac 6. Let's go ahead and revisit the Pac 6 real quick and what they've got here. So Land Thieves must win for them to even get a sniff of what that conference title matchup might be, regardless of their record, sitting at 1-2. Philly U is out of it, so they're definitely wanting to play spoiler as they're sitting at 0-3. Next matchup here. This would be one of the last ones we'll talk about, but if you had 2 games of the week, this is your second game of the week. If it wasn't for a undefeated school facing their other undefeated school conference play-wise, This would be your number one, your real game of the week as well, as you have the 8-2 number 3 Samurai Jackson University going on the road to face number 5 7-3 Copper Mountain Community College. For Samurai, he's got Mahomes, Zeke Elliott, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, and Kyle Pitts. For Copper Mountain, he's got Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, Cordero Patterson, and Dallas Goedert. At this moment, Copper Mountain is favored 136 to 135. Samurai Jackson does have the all-time series lead, 5-3 against Copper Mountain. So big matchup here. As we said already with the packs. Those are your two top schools. You have Delta Fu in there mix as well, but Samurai Jackson is 3-0. Definitely wanting to get back on a nice little winning streak after losing 2 games ago. But definitely want to continue on. They're definitely looking to make that 4-0 slot and definitely confirming their spot in their conference title with a win here this week. Copper Mountain victory here gives them a nice little tiebreaker over Samurai Jackson and gives them a good look into conference title play. All right, next matchup here in the rankings, you've got Quack Attack going on the road, looking to play spoiler against number 7 SCLSU Mud Dogs. For Quack Attack, they're going to make a little move there in quarterback slot because they got Safford in there, but they got Zeke Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Brandon Ayuk, Cordero Patterson, and TJ Hawkinson. For the Mud Dogs, you got Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, Brandon Cooks, Emmanuel Sanders, and Mark Andrews. At this moment, SCLSU is favored 126 to 97, and SCLSU also holds a 7-1 overall record against Quack Attack. So that is not looking promising at all for Quack Attack, as they can never get the number right when they're facing the Mud Dogs. But you never know what could happen, and they could be playing some spoilers this week as well. So that's all your matchups here in the rankings. Go back over to this other page. There is walk-ons currently going on. I'm going to take a look at that and sign off on this, and I'll go ahead and start approving who's already done their walk-ons and go from there. You have until Saturday to get that in. So last one, make it count. Got 3 games left this week, left of this regular season before we get into conference title play, and we start getting into the bowl season. Season's already over, even with 17 games in there. So if you have any questions, go ahead and holler at me. Anything else, you know what to do. I'll see you guys on the Band app. We'll chat on there. Anything else, catch y'all later. Have a good one.